Have you ever thought about how you lead while you are concerned? I'm Christy Birchfield. We're talking about leading through challenging circumstances, and we've been going through the book of Daniel. The book of Daniel is all about the incredible life of Daniel and all of the tremendously challenging circumstances that he experienced. If you've missed any of the sessions that we've done through this, you can find those. There's a link in the description below. It'll take you to those entire playlist for this series. Today we're finishing up chapter 7, and it's just one verse that we're looking at. This entire chapter has been dedicated to a vision that Daniel had, and that vision was one of kingdoms that were going to be coming up and then also going to be destroyed. And Daniel was in the midst of a time frame where he was serving a king who didn't follow God, didn't believe in God, really probably didn't think much of Daniel. But Daniel was still in this leadership wise man position because that's where he had been with the king's father. Daniel receives this vision that shows how the next several kingdoms were going to rise and then fall and then rise and then fall, and that there would be one kingdom that was going to be over all of them and would be established for all eternity. Daniel got a pre-look into the coming of Jesus Christ. But still, at the end of the vision, chapter 7, verse 28 says, "This is the end of the matter. I, Daniel, was deeply troubled by my thoughts, and my face turned pale, but I kept the matter to myself." It's an interesting idea when you are in a position of leadership and there's something that's really concerning. Leaders are constantly having to battle that fine line between transparency and discretion. What should be shared, what needs to be shared, and what needs to just kind of be held. So that if something comes up, you're aware of it as a leader, but it may not be something you broadcast to the masses. As leaders, you need to know everything. And God was doing an incredible job and giving Daniel, honestly, an amazing gift of being able to see what the future is going to hold. But sometimes it's not exactly all it's cracked up to be, having that knowledge. And Daniel's looking ahead going, this next little bit's going to be rough. What does he do with that information? He didn't run to the king. He knew the king was not really going to listen to him or be interested in, and it wouldn't necessarily be helpful to the king or for the kingdoms that he was serving. So Daniel chose to keep it to himself. But he didn't completely keep it to himself. He obviously was sharing with God and talking to God about this vision, but he also wrote it down. He wrote it down and recorded it so that we, generations later, could still have the benefit of seeing what God had shared with him and how God had led him through this time. If you're in a position of leadership, there's going to be information, there's going to be things that you learn that are going to be troublesome. They're going to bother you. How do you deal with that? First, you take it to God, because God is the one who knows and understands everything, and He has allowed you to have that information in the first place. And second, you allow God to help you understand whether you share or whether you don't share. And if you do, how? So that way those who come behind you can learn from your leadership so that they can lead even better as time moves forward. Lead effectively, even through difficult circumstances, challenging situations, and difficult knowledge of things to come. Make sure you subscribe. We're going to continue through chapter 8 when we start that tomorrow, and you don't want to miss it. We'll see you then.